Om Shanti. We will first talk about mind consciousness versus your consciousness. Baba tells us that we have to live in the household, but like a trustee. So, what is the idea of being a trustee? So, the idea of being a trustee is that everything and everyone in the household belongs to Baba, and I am just somebody who has been appointed to take care of them there. But I have no sense of ownership in the household. I don't think this is mine, that is mine, or he is mine, she is mine. And if you see that this mind consciousness is what opens the door to Maya. Yes, and Baba says very beautifully that if you say Tera, Tera, you will be doing Tairna, which is you will be able to swim if you say Tera, Tera. And if you say Mera, Mera, then you will be Mela, which is if you say mine, mine, then you will get dirty. And this is a very important thing to understand, and the example is also very beautiful, that in the world so many people do so many things, and there are so many people who behave with you in not appropriately. But when that same behavior comes from the child, then you say, how can my child speak like this to me? Or how can my child behave like this? And then that mind consciousness just makes you very sorrowful. So it's very important to do away with the mind consciousness. And one of the most fundamental principles of spirituality is that I am a soul, I have come to this stage and I have to play my part, and I have no ownership whatsoever over anything and anyone. I have no ownership over anything and anyone. Because you see that's the truth. You don't have any ownership over anyone and anything. But in this world, in this Ravan Rajya, this mind consciousness is something we are trained into. Yes, so this language that this is mine and that is mine and the other is mine is something that we are conditioned into. But the truth is, the eternal truth is that nothing belongs to you, not even this body. Can you say this body is mine? If this body was yours, why does it get ill without your permission? So why does the body decay without your permission? If something is yours, then it should obey you and it should behave according to your directions. But the truth is, our own mind, you see that these days our own mind is not mine. Yes, and Baba says, let alone the body. But Baba says, the truth is, your mind is yours. And if you want, you can reclaim it. These days you say that the mind doesn't belong to me. And I have no control over my mind. But Baba says you are a soul and the mind belongs to you. It is your mind. The mind, intellect and the sanskars are yours. So don't leave ownership over them. Exercise control over them. And if you do that, you will be successful, because the eternal truth is the mind, the intellect, and the sanskars are yours. But another side of the eternal truth is that the body and the other souls who are playing parts with you, or the other things that you have available to use in your part, they are not yours. They are just something that you have been provided to play your part on the stage. Just like you see an actor, when he goes on the stage, then he takes something of himself to the stage, and then the stage provides something for him to play his part. So on this stage we have been given this body, this costume, or the co-actors who are playing our parts, their parts with us, or we have been given property and things and stuff which helps us play our part, or even the qualities and the specialities that we have, they are also given to us by the drama to play our part. So Baba says we must have gratitude for whatever we have been given to play our part, but we mustn't fall for the illusion that I have ownership on any of that. And Baba says you are a soul and you have only ownership on your man, buddhi, sanskar, and that too you have to reclaim, and you have ownership over Baba. So whenever you call Baba, he will come. Whenever you connect with Baba, he will, it's his duty, he takes it as his responsibility to sustain and nourish us whenever we turn our attention to him. So Baba says, I am yours, your man, buddhi, sanskar are yours, and you have to live by this knowledge that nothing else is yours. And what is the problem with disregarding the eternal truth and falling for the illusion that this body and these relationships are mine? The thing is, when you have a false sense of ownership, you will also have a sense of loss. So all sense of loss comes from a false sense of ownership. If you create the idea that this is mine for something that is not yours, then you're preparing yourself to feel the sorrow or of the loss of something that never belonged to you, because that loss has to happen, because something that is not yours will never behave according to you and never fulfill your expectations. And you see that this body has its part in the drama, every soul around me has their part in the drama, and everything around me also has its part in the drama, and they will behave according to their part in the drama, and I will have false expectations of them based on the false sense of ownership that I have for them, and then those false expectations will give rise to false sense of sorrow that I will feel, because I think that this is mine, and then it is not fulfilling my expectation. Yes, so Baba says that know that nothing is yours. And if you think that this person is mine, maybe the child or somebody, and the truth is they are not yours, they have their own journey and they will always behave according to their own journey, and how they play their part has got nothing to do with you, your expectation or your journey. But when they behave the way they are supposed to behave, you will take it personally and create a sense of disappointment and loss, because you have created this false idea, this illusion that this is mine. Yes. And I remember, there was this Mata, and she and her husband are very well to do, so there is no dearth of money or anything. But when her son started earning, so this Mata had this idea, this belief system, that when the son earns, then he should and must give some part of his salary to his mother. And she started having this expectation from the son, and then the son never gave anything, and he always said, you people have enough, why should I give? So when he did that, then this Mata was really feeling bad about it, and then she told me that I feel very bad and very disappointed because my son is not behaving like my son. So I tried to tell her that, you see, your son is not your son, he's a soul, and any soul will have unique sanskars. So you think that your son should live up to your expectations, or even if you say that I had the sanskar to give money to my parents when I earned, maybe that soul who you call your son may not have the same sanskars, because every soul is different. And when you are creating this thought, then you are creating for yourself a big hole of expectations in which you will fall and you will get hurt. And when you get hurt, then what happens is there is a vicious cycle that starts. So in the first place, you create an expectation, then you get disappointed, and then how do you behave? Lovingly after getting disappointed? No. You block your love, and then they also block their love further, and then you also do the same, and then this vicious cycle starts of complaints and disappointments and expectations. And then when the final result is what? Everybody says that the other person didn't live up to my expectations. So Baba says that do away with this false sense of this is mine and that is mine and the other is mine, and only Shiv Baba is mine. My man buddhi sanskar is mine. I have to take power from Baba and have control over my thoughts, take conscious thoughts. I have to have control over my decisions, my buddhi, and I have to have control over my sanskars. Which sanskars I want to emerge while coming into behavior. And Baba says this is how you swim. And when you swim, you can cross a big channel by swimming if you are a good swimmer, and you can do that without any boats. So Baba says you can swim through this Kalyug to Satyug if you just follow this one direction and say everything belongs to Baba and I am just a trustee. And it's also important to understand that when you are sent here to play your part, it's very important you do not neglect, you do not reject, and you do not attach. So we have addressed the attachment bit by working on the mind consciousness, but the other two things are do not neglect and do not reject. Now what happens is, when you don't understand that you have a role to play and you have a responsibility and you are a trustee, and these things have been placed, these souls, everything around you has been given to you in trust. And what is the role of a trustee? To make good, make better whatever has been given to them. And if you don't understand and take the responsibility of a trustee, then what do? You try to escape you try to, you try to just ignore people, ignore tasks, ignore responsibilities. And this act of neglecting or just rejecting somebody because they are not behaving according to your expectations, this is also going to create a debit account on your part. Because if there is somebody, so let's say, let's take a very simple example. There is somebody in the household who just met an accident. Okay, so they just met with an accident according to a scene in drama. And then what do? Okay, you know that there is nothing called mine, and then there is no scope for attachment, so you don't become sorrowful and you take it, you look at the scene like a detached observer. But you are also a trustee, so there is a certain role that you play there. So you cannot just neglect that soul and reject that soul. When they are in physical pain, you don't have to take their pain, but what we call humanity. So that's the quality of being Rahimdil. So you will definitely help them in whatever manner you can. You don't have to get emotional about it. When you become emotional, you overdo things. But then even if you neglect and reject, that is also not a good idea, because later it will gnaw at your heart that you just abandoned somebody. And you cannot abandon. You cannot abandon. You are a loveful soul. You are Baba's child. So Baba says that you will give them whatever is necessary for them to recover, whatever support, whatever physical help, or whatever you can do in your capacity to help them recover, you do. Don't get emotional about it. Don't overstep, and do not attach. Don't take sorrow, but also don't neglect and reject, because you are a trustee and there is a role to play. There is a responsibility to carry out in every scene, and by being a trustee, you have to play your role. It's not like you can just reject everybody and abandon everybody and leave. It doesn't work like that. So there is a fine balance we have to find between not attaching and not rejecting and not neglecting also. So because sometimes when we say that nothing is mine, then there is a sense of I have the right to abandon everyone and everything. But no, you don't have the right to abandon. If that was your right, then Baba wouldn't say that you have to live in the household and finish your karmic accounts. That wouldn't have been Baba's Shrimat. And I will just tell you one example. So there was this one Mata, and she once said that I am into Gyan, and I feel a lot of attraction towards Baba, and now I want to dedicate my life to Baba's Seva, but I have a 4-year-old child. And is it okay if I leave the child behind with my in-laws and I just take up Baba's Seva and I just start doing Baba's Seva? So I told her, no, you have to take care of the child. You cannot abandon the child. So she said, but Didi, I don't understand, like, what is my, why is there a responsibility I have towards the child? And that she was really asking innocently, because she did not understand that what is it that binds her in responsibility with the child. So then I told her that Baba has told us a law that you have to take care of the one you create. रचता को रचना की पालना करनी पड़ती है. Baba says that anybody who creates something has to sustain it. That's an unsaid law. Have you ever seen that the constitution tells the mother and father to take care of the child? So you are never bound by any law. You are bound by unsaid spiritual laws, and the unsaid spiritual laws is you are a trustee of the one you created until they grow up and they become independent. And there is a responsibility. There is a responsibility towards the souls you live in, towards the home you live in, towards the prakriti you live with, and you cannot just go on damaging the environment by doing whatever you want, because there is a responsibility. It has been given to you in trust, and nobody has to tell you, and it is not written as a code anywhere that you have to clean your house every day. Is it some kind of a law? No, but keeping your environment clean, keeping it pure, keeping it recharged, these are all responsibilities that are given to us in trust. So when Baba gives us souls and nature in trust and makes us a trustee, then there are responsibilities that we carry out without losing our sensibilities, without getting emotional, and without attachment. Because if you attach, you will feel sorrow, you will feel disappointed because of false expectations. But the opposite of attaching also shouldn't happen. Don't reject or don't neglect, because then what has been given to you in trust is not taken care of. So that's also not okay. Like you see, when we operate in the center and there are brothers and sisters who live with us, and if I'm in a position where I have and I have been entrusted with the seva, then what do I have to do? I have to take care of them with detachment. Yes, I cannot say that it's not my duty to ask whether they ate or not, or it's not my duty to think whether there's food or not, or it's not my duty to worry about whether somebody is ill or in good health, and it's not my duty to take somebody to the hospital or give them what they need. No, you cannot say that. You cannot run away like that. But I also have to take care whether I'm body conscious, am I overdoing it, am I underdoing it, or am I doing it and creating expectations because there is attachment and I'm feeling the pain of those expectations, those unfulfilled expectations. So these things have to be taken care of. So this is something. And then today Baba is also talking about the difference between a sannyasi becoming the disciple of another sannyasi and we children becoming children of Baba. So Baba says there is adoption in sannyas marg also. So when you go to in the sannyas marg, we go and get adopted to a sannyasi, and in the path of knowledge we are adopted by Shiv Baba through Brahma Baba. But Baba says in both the places there is an act of adoption, but there is a difference in the adoption on the sannyas path and adoption on this path by Baba. And what is the difference? In the sannyas marg, when somebody gets adopted to a guru, he becomes a follower or a chela, a disciple. But when we come to Baba and we are adopted, we become children of Baba. We are not followers or disciples, we are children. And there is a big difference between being a disciple and a child, because a child has the right to inheritance and a disciple doesn't have the right to inheritance. And you look at, Baba tells us in the Murlis that I am your father and you are my child. And you see that according to the natural law, a child is made in the image of the father. Yes, so the parents, whatever the parents have belongs to the child. And Baba says that in the world, when you say parents and children, that's not totally true, because you see that the physical features might match, but the sanskars can have a complete mismatch because the sanskars belong to the soul and the physical features are part of the body. So when somebody is somebody's Lokik child, so there is physical resemblance. Of course, there will be physical resemblance and there will be so many similarities in the body. But when it comes to the soul, then the soul may be very different, because the soul is not the child of the Lokik father. And the soul sanskars may be completely different. And how many of you, while growing up, you felt that I have the same face and physical features as my mother and father Lokik, but I am nothing like them. I have no similarities in sanskars. Have you felt that? And I always felt while growing up that, there is so much of dissimilarity in sanskars. And even as a child, I felt that, there are many places where I feel that the way they think and the way I think is very different. Although, the face and the physical features, they match absolutely. So because in the physical, in the Lokik world, the body, we are physical children, so the body and the physical features will match, but the sanskars will not. But Baba gives us the knowledge that you souls are children. The truth is that you are the children of me, Shiv Baba. And when we understand that I am the child of the Supreme Father, then I, the soul, understand that my sanskars are like that of my Baba. And this is a very big power. So when you position yourself, when you think of yourself as the child of the ocean of knowledge, ocean of love, ocean of peace, and you understand that I am made in His image, it becomes very easy to become the master ocean of peace, master ocean of love. Come back to that awareness of who you really are. And knowing the parent is a reference point for the child to know himself. So you see that in the physical world, if a child doesn't know the parent, then he doesn't know which religion he belongs to, which caste he belongs to, or what is his surname, or what are his other physical, in the physical world, he doesn't have an identity. He doesn't know who he is or where he belongs. So people say that this person doesn't know the name of his father, so he has no caste, no religion, no identity. But similarly, Baba says that you don't have a spiritual identity. You don't know your virtues, your powers. You have lost all your spiritual identity. You have lost all your spiritual strength because you forgot the Father. And now when we meet the Father, when we are adopted by the Father, we recognize ourselves as souls and we recognize our spiritual virtues and powers. So this is the biggest thing that there is a difference in bhakti and in gyan. And in gyan, we understand that when I am the child of the ocean of knowledge, I am also the master ocean of knowledge. And since Baba adopts us practically, it's not just theoretical thinking that I am the master ocean of knowledge. Baba is available, and Baba is really changing us into master oceans of knowledge by giving us all the knowledge that he has. And just like I earlier mentioned, that no parent is directed by anybody to take care of the child. Yes, and nobody has to tell the parent to give his property to the child. Similarly, Baba also takes upon himself this responsibility of coming and sustaining us with his knowledge, virtues and powers when we turn paupers, when we turn into beggars, when we are living in a world of sorrow. So Baba takes up this responsibility of bringing us back to our glory, bringing us back to our divinity which we had lost. And Baba also takes up the responsibility to give us the inheritance of Satyug. And not just the inheritance, he takes up the responsibility of making us eligible for the inheritance also. And I think, this is very important to understand, because in the physical world, what is happening these days is parents are very concerned about leaving an inheritance for their children, but they are not concerned about making them capable enough to make good use of the inheritance. And I think I shared earlier also, there's this child, and his parents were telling me that the child was given admission to a university in the foreign country, and the parents paid heavily for that education, but the child did not study, he didn't even go to class, and he was sent back. And after he was sent back, the parents tried to tell him that whatever you did was not okay and you should have studied. And then the child just took a blanket, and while he was covering his head with the blanket, he said, "What have you earned? For whom have you earned all this? It's all for me, right? So stop eating my head and go away." So just think about this thing, that every parent is these days, they are thinking that I should give everything easy to my child, and they should not make any effort, they shouldn't take any pain, they should have a life of luxury, and they should have a life of comfort, and they should not know of any adversity. But that's the difference between the ocean of knowledge being a parent and the knowledgeless being a parent. So souls are all knowledgeless, not knowledgeful right now. And this is why when souls are sustaining other souls, then they are only giving physical property, but they want to not subject the child to any adversity, and they don't want the child to build any resilience and stamina. But when Baba comes, what does he do for us? He says, children, you take one step, Maya will take 2 steps, and you have to win over Maya. Baba never says, "Oh my sweet child, I want you to have the kingdom of Satyug as a piece of cake, and so I will stop Maya from disturbing you." No. Baba says, you take 1 step, Maya will be ordered to take 2 steps, and your duty is to win over Maya, and win over Maya by using whatever I am giving you. I am giving you all the knowledge, the virtues and the powers that you need to win over Maya, and when you use them rightly, you will get the desired result. And Baba is the ocean of knowledge, the supreme parent, and he takes this responsibility to uplift us by making us know that we are his children and what's our basic nature, what are our powers and virtues, what is our spiritual identity. So he gives us an identity, he gives us the intoxication of our spiritual identity, and then he gives us the inheritance of Satyug. But most importantly, he makes us, he takes the responsibility of making us eligible to rule in the kingdom of Satyug. Okay, Om Shanti.